Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Finding Your Voice. Are you able to communicate your thoughts clearly and effectively? Are you even able to speak up? And do people even listen to you when you do? Hi, I'm Miss Chrissy D with the PNK Files, your emergency kit to life. And this is Darlene Turner with VictimToVictory, and together we're the Perspective.
Hi, everyone. Well, a little bit of review last week, as amazing as it was, talking about the heart on Valentine's Day. We're sharing how the heart is really our essence and our true inner self. It's our balance of being able to give that love out, but also being able to receive that love. It's where our knowingness lives. So we're moving up into the throat, which is blue, and I'm very blue today. And so in the throat, which is the neck, the throat, the thyroid, the jaw, the mouth, and the ears are all incorporated in this chakra. And it's also a balance of giving and receiving. So it's a balance of speaking and listening, and a harmony within that. This is where our expression of ourself comes through, and it really ties in with all the other chakras we've been talking about. It actually pairs up with the second chakra, which is that creativity. This is where we express our, that if you're angry, it'll come out, in our anger, or our laughing or crying. The one thing I know, though, is that when this is shut down and you have that deep sadness or can't seem to cry, have you ever felt that you just can't even swallow? Your throat just shuts down and closes up, and you're like, ugh. Or for me, sometimes it's that strangling feeling where there's just like I have a choker on here where it's like I can't even actually catch a breath sometimes. So that comes, I believe, a lot from my abusive relationships and not being able to speak or have an opinion, or actually being, at points being strangled, embedded in there. And my first relationship, he was very controlling and domineering, and he would belittle me so that I never felt like I had something worthy to say, or, it was kind of like, there, go sit in the corner, you don't have, you're not, don't have anything to say here. So, that's a big part that shuts us down. And Christine, I was talking about before about our childhood. How many of us have been told to be quiet and go sit in the corner or something?
I was raised, children should be seen and not heard. And when I say jump, all you say is, how high, sir? Yeah. You don't talk unless you're being spoken to.
Absolutely. And that creates that impression and that belief way down deep again in that second chakra, which is where our beliefs and patterns sit. So you can see how they both work together. So this is also our center of our choices of our words being sent out. And that goes in kind of a two-way street, as we're sending out our words, and what are those words? I'm not worthy. I can't afford this. Whatever those words are that we're putting out to the universe, they do have a vibration and a frequency being sent out, which attracts whatever back in. So knowing that, as well as our words of being able to make a proper choice. How do we respond to people? Are we sending out hurtful words that we can't take back? This is an important piece of choice of your words.
That goes back to when we were talking about the brain before. So when somebody's making a perception or making a judgment, they're now using their emotional brain. They're not using their thinking brain. So you're not going to make good decisions. You're not going to say what you want to say and give the message that you want to give, because you're using the emotional part of your brain, not your thinking and logical part. So what do you do when you're trying to be that person and you're trying to be logical and use the thinking part of your brain, and somebody else doesn't want to?
Yeah, that is
then.
Really good question, especially if you are faced with somebody that's angry, and so then that really does shut us down, especially if we've been in these circumstances before. So a big part is keeping yourself safe. So I just recommend creating a little distance between yourself and that person, and not squaring off with them, having a little bit of a turn to your body so that you do have sort of an escape route, as well as you're not energetically blunt on with them. And it's not, it's like, how they say, don't look an animal in its eyes, so it's a little bit of that, right? Because then, if they're in a fight mood, it's just going to be a fight. They're not going to listen to you. They're in reaction. So being able to say, you know what, time out, or, let's discuss this later, anything to just being able to step away and create a little space so that they can cool down, and hopefully an opportunity later on to have a rational conversation with each other is really important.
Yeah. So your stance actually then is a twofold. It's not letting the energy in, and it's also keeping yourself physically safe.
Definitely.
Right. Yeah.
And that, I just want to bring in here that, and because we're talking a little bit about it here, this balance of speaking and listening, like it's about actually being in that space that if we are speaking, somebody is actually listening and not on their phone or busy doing something and looking away, especially if it's an important conversation that you're trying to have. Make sure that you schedule and just say, you know what, can we sit down and have a conversation? Try and have that eye contact so that you know what, you have their attention. I know I worked with seniors a lot, and because they're a little bit hard of hearing, you really have to make sure you're facing them and you have that eye contact so they're able to hear what you're saying. And this goes with a healthy conversation. So not only is this piece about being able to have their attention and they're listening, it's about giving that back to them as well, and having that, giving your full attention and hearing them out without interrupting and saying, whoa, blah, 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 like you're, yeah.
It's about giving respect and getting respect. And that's part of our new files, right? We're getting rid of the old files, and we're going to sit down, and somebody's not going to give us that respect and the energy to sit there and talk about it. Don't go back to your old file and put up with it. Find somebody that will listen to you. Don't keep it bottled up inside, because it's just not healthy. It's not good. It's going to be rational. Find somebody that is open and willing to listen to you, just so you can get it out.
Yeah, it diffuses it too. If you're bottling all this anger up and all of a sudden something happens, you're going to blow up at something maybe that isn't even to do with whatever's really going on. So it is a release that needs to happen, and as expression of yourself, of your values, your opinions, and what is your truth.
Yes.
So I want to bring in here as well, it's very important to be grounded in this, because this is a big part of your inner self and your essence that you're speaking out. So really being grounded, it's that physical part of us into the spiritual, into the air to be heard, right? And this is a big part as well. Like all these chakras, like I say, are really intermixed together. So I've been talking about how it's connected to the second chakra, which is our creativity, our emotions, but it's also really connected to the heart chakra, our essence, our soul, our dreams, our truth of who we are, and really engaging in that truth. Because if we're not in alignment with that truth of who you are, then your health is going to suffer. You're not in your power at all. You're out of sync with everything. We watched, Michael and I, the movie Milan, and it was so awesome. And I highly recommend it. It's out there, the new version. It's not the cartoon. Well, there's a cartoon out there, but the real people one. And she was dressed as the boy in disguise in the army. And when she actually had to come against this other lady that had magical powers, she lost because she wasn't in her truth. And the other lady said this to her, you have to be in your truth to be in your full power. So she took off her armor and let down her hair and got on her horse, and she saved the day, and and was recognized for who she really was, her name. And even as a girl, she had to confront the whole army and admit, and which definitely, like we say, it's not easy sometimes speaking your truth. Yeah, she had to face everything.
And people aren't going to like it when you get your power, because that's not what they're used to now. They're used to you with the old file of not being powerful. So it's going to be uncomfortable for them, and they're going to try and put you back to where you were before so that everything stays the status quo. So just recognize that people aren't going to be okay with it, and that's okay.
And especially if you're in these codependency relationships, that's how you guys been playing out your roles with each other, right? So once you are stepping in your truth and voicing that out, then they may fall away because they're not playing that role that they wish you to play, and really new ones will come along that are more healthy relationships that actually respect you and know your worth and know how to communicate as well. So this is really important.
So that's interesting that you say that, because I'm going through that right now and I'm running out of friends. Okay. So, and you get to a place where either I start thinking it, or the other person has said to me, well, it must be you because everybody's falling away. So it's not me, it's you.
Yeah, and it is you, except for it's you in a good way because you're not going by that old file system. You've created your new file system, so the synced up programs haven't, or people haven't come into your life yet. But now you've created space for them to come into, and that's huge. Once your cup is full, or your life is full, you don't have space for the new to come in. So once you've cleaned out your closets, you got your new clothes coming in with lots of colors. So I want to bring in, this is the G note, and the G note is your glands expressing your truth to your community, to your family. It's wisdom. It's that transition from the physical to the spiritual. And it's also the G sharp note, which is where the cervical meets the skull. It supports your life path, your dreams, your logical conscious thinking when it's times of stress. Ready for some tips?
Yes, let's go into our tips.
All right. Well, I'll share my tip one. It is listening to your favorite music, because I didn't really talk about it yet, but actually your voice and everything has a frequency, even our bodies and music. And I talked about with colors, they also have a vibration to them. When we're at the root chakra, it's a low, long wave. And as we're getting to these higher chakras, it's more of an up and down, shorter frequency. It's a higher frequency, really. And so finding what resonates with you. What type of music do you like to listen to? And put it in a headset and listen to it, because you know what? That frequency that you resonate is going to vibrate in your cells and create a harmony in your body and a healthy environment for all of you inside and out to live in.
And that goes right along with my tip number 2. Everybody sing. Just sing. It is so therapeutic. It makes you feel good, no matter whether you're feeling down or feeling frustrated. You know, when you're happy, you're going along, you're just humming and everything's just great. So whether you think you can sing or not, or whether it sounds good or it doesn't, just sing. I have different songs I sing for different situations and how I'm feeling. And it always makes me feel not only happier and better, but really empowered.
And it's a great way to express your emotions. Sometimes if you are angry, putting on one of those songs where we're not going to take it, you know,
Yeah.
whatever those songs are that really light you up. I know from my life, everybody's like, no, you're not a singer, Darlene, don't sing. And we got a karaoke machine a while ago, and it was amazing. I had no idea. I still can't sing good, but it feels really good to sing and just start opening up that throat chakra through that. So crank your music, sing your song.
Everybody's got a song inside them.
Exactly, which brings us to tip 3. I want you to journal a little bit about your dreams. What's your soul trying to say to you? What's trying to birth out of you? What is your uniqueness to share with the world? And start tapping into that. Make some time for yourself to really connect and open that door into who you really are and what you have to share, the spirit flowing through you.
Yes. So before we sign off today, Darlene's going to tell us a little bit about our workshop that we're doing tomorrow night to help open our heart chakra a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it, right? Opening our heart more to let that uniqueness create that relationship with ourselves that we may never have thought we even had, or is there, or haven't connected to it before, or maybe we'd like to make it stronger. So our workshop's called Diving Deeper into the Heart. And it's at 7 o'clock, and we're going to create a safe environment on Zoom where you just have Chrissy and I, and it's our private group. And we're going to, share a little bit more about the heart, and then take you through sort of a guided meditation, a healing environment where you can really create a healing space for some of those hurts or that opening of the heart to happen, and create a deeper space for you to tap into that.
So make sure that you sign up so we can send you a Zoom link. And as always, there will be lots of more tips that you can see today after the show in the comments. And thanks for joining us. Come and join us every Sunday and tomorrow at 7 o'clock for the new perspective on trauma, abuse, chronic pain, and the steps to a healthy and thriving life. And we will see you tomorrow and next week.
Bye, everyone.